Namaste. Welcome to one of our final publicly streamed sessions. So, today is going to be one of the last sessions wherein we are going to summarize all the different practices we have been doing or I've been introducing to you over the last 6 or 7 sessions. And we will try to also integrate those practices and make it as something that each of us can actually undertake in our daily life and practice on a regular basis as well. So for today's practice or today's session, we will start with understanding how each of these steps can actually be integrated and how they can be integrated together. So we will form a specific structure for the practice. And once we have the structure for the practice, we can then actually connect to what is called as the head of the practice and the tail of the practice, which is more or less the same for everyone. And then there is the body of the practice, which is where you have to practice according to the guidance that you have been given, either through me or if you have some specific sadhana, you can actually bring it into that body of the practice. But holistically, if you just take any practice, whatever that I've given you, it is still good enough. And it will eventually give you further guidance on how to get to that point of either stillness or awareness or feeling a sense of presence. And then you will be able to go along that direction. So for now, you can follow broadly that structure that I'm going to give you and introduce to you today. So before that, for today's instructions, I have a couple of points that I want to clarify, which is more about the attitude we take into any sadhana. And why this is important also I'm going to explain. See, first, when we come or when we get interested in doing any spiritual practice, or when we want to undertake any kind of spiritual sadhana, there is some inner sense of incompleteness that we have already sensed. There is a feeling that something is wrong somewhere within us or in the world that we perceive, maybe. So, this sense of incompleteness or this sense of something being not quite right is actually at the heart of why we want to look at undertaking some practice. Now, ideally, the other reason also why we come to the practice is that we have perchance tasted some sense of higher joy or some sense of inner peace or maybe even some kind of innate faith we have developed in there being something deeper and more sublime than our daily life experiences and challenges. So what happens in this that this attitude of incompleteness, which actually has done a great job in bringing us to the path and or in wanting to take us to the spiritual practice or this promise of some sublime state which has brought us to this path, also has a kind of a psychological an inbuilt psychological flaw. And this flaw is what I've been trying to point out, is that the sense of incompleteness that we take into our practice. So what happens when we bring in that attitude is that we are constantly in that state of efforting with that sense that we will probably never get to what we need to get to, or that we can never be worthy enough of that unconditional divine love or that complete fulfillment that we are seeking. So we will, even though we keep practicing, we will constantly keep harnessing this notion within us. So what we should do every now and then is actually to check within ourselves. So there are actually two approaches based on your personality types, based on your certain inclination, you have to kind of reaffirm each of either of these tracks. The first one is actually to kind of affirm every point before you start the practice that by nature you're pure. Your innate nature, you have to have some sense of, it starts with a kind of at least some sense of a conviction you have developed or you're developing, that you're pure, you're not broken, that you don't need to go to another therapist, another guru, another thing to fix yourself. So you have to at least have this thing that pure inner nature that you're looking for is right here, right now, and within you and has you. So you as such are pure and complete. So you have to start with some notion like that. And then you kind of acknowledge that there are areas in your life where you are not able to manifest that purity, that full awareness. And so in order to do that, meditation helps you in bridging this gap between what you truly are and what you get identified with on a daily basis. So, in that sense, meditation is an affirmation of your true nature, and meditation is also connecting you back to that true nature. So, meditation in that sense can be the greatest change agent. If you take it with the right spirit, meditation alone can actually transform you of a lot of the other mental and emotional and daily life problems and sufferings we are having. Merely by being able to connect within, you can change and bring a lot of transformation in your life. Maybe you don't see that as like immediately become, it's not that you immediately become youthful and that all your financial problems go away, but that you have a certain sense of inner conviction always, that no matter what is happening, that it is not going to touch you, it is not going to at the core of you, you're not going to get tainted. So that kind of attitude we should cultivate. If you're not able to work on directly come to that, then you can take the devotional attitude. So for those people who are more inclined to devotionally, and for those people who are more uh, connected to a more who are not by nature more heart centered, you can say, so for them they can actually think of themselves as a part of the divine, either has some kind of a form of god or has some just divine spirit, and that they're a part of that, and that they don't need to do anything else to gain that unconditional love of the divine, and the divine love and presence is always within them. So all that they need to do is to be able to reconnect themselves back and to be able to develop this understanding and connection is what meditation gives to people who are more attuned to that nature. So that is one of the main things that I want to clarify for the practice. So we will actually now go ahead and start the full practice today. So we will do all the bits of the practice that I have introduced so far. And so first step of this practice is that you can actually make this intention. I had introduced in one of the first couple of videos, I had talked about how you should actually have this intention that through this meditation, I'm going to connect back to my pure nature, and that this little cracks in my life that manifest because of my wrong identification or my wrong notions about myself, that is what I want to correct. And then you can also develop a purpose that by my connecting, I will try to be able to be of help to others, and be able to just by my presence be there for others, kind of something on that line, which also helps others also when you practice. So that kind of inspiration, that kind of motivation you want to have in your practice. So take a moment to develop that intention, take a moment to feel that, and also if you're having trouble feeling that, also you can just say a prayer and asking for divine guidance and divine help, and or if not, just your inner guidance, you can also ask for. So take a moment, and you can, in your own words and in your own mind, you can just internalize this form of prayer. Now, let us start with watching the body posture. So you can just try to see if you can align yourself, as I explained in one of the earlier videos. So just see if you can sit a little upright, but not tensed. Straight as much as you're able to, but not too kind of stiff. So your body should be relaxed, and you are kind of uh, wherever you're seated, you can try to make your adjustment so that if you are seated on a chair, your feet is flat on the ground, and if you're sitting on a cushion, then you make sure that your both your feet are balanced together, and then you can slowly kind of raise your chin a little bit at like about 15-degree angle. You can direct your eyes gaze. This time you can start with to focus the eyes at the point between the eyebrows. You don't need to uh, focus your physical eyes there. It is just like a mental gazing. So you can lift your eyes a little bit more, a little high, and just feel that point between the eyebrows. No need to physically squint your eyes to see that point. So just relax and feel your body composed. And you can now just kind of do this breathing with where we tense the whole body. So you take a deep breath and tense your whole body, and then quickly relax and let go of all the tension with double exhalation if possible. Inhale, tense your whole body, feel that energy vibrating through your whole body, and quickly relax and let go. Inhale, take a deep breath one more time, tense your whole body, and quickly relax and let go. And now take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, as you exhale normally and towards the end, just throw out the air a little faster, something like so. 3 times, just inhale, and towards the last phase, when you finish the exhalation, just push out the air a little bit more. One more time, inhale, and almost when you're finished, feel that you're going to push out that air. And so now let us just scan the body. First time we scan, we check for any tension in the body and see if you can physically relax. So starting with the top of the head, we just scan down to the forehead, eyes, nose, mouth, face, ears, back of the head. Then your throat region, back of neck, shoulders, arms. Anywhere you feel the tension, see if you can just relax the body tension and let go. Back or your upper back, lower back, abdomen, lower part of the body, thighs, knees, calf, and feet. Just relax wherever you're feeling tension. Now we're going to scan the body, and where we mentally relax by watching the sensations And anywhere you feel any sensation, just relax and accept it mentally. No need to mentally fight with that. Just allow the sensations to be what it is. The body is changing every moment. So, whatever the sensations are, it'll change by its own. And you can just become aware, just bring your awareness, acknowledge, and move on. Starting from the top of the head again, your face area, your neck, back of the head, neck, shoulders, upper arms, lower arms, fingers, shoulder blades, lower back, chest, stomach, lower part of the body, legs, feet. So just maintain your awareness here for a few seconds. Just resting in awareness, resting with awareness. Allow the body to be what it is. Allow your mind state to also be what it is. Just relax and be aware. So there's no need to focus on anything, nor do we get lost with any thought. We just acknowledge it, but maintain awareness in the present moment. At this point, we can switch to becoming aware of the breath. But if you feel more inclined to do some japa or some specific practice that you are generally used to, you can also try it at this point. But just for about 4 or 5 minutes, we will just bring our attention on watching the breath without making any change in the breathing. Long or short breath, shallow or deep breath, we just allow it all to be what it is. Become aware of inhalation, become aware of the exhalation. And if you can, become aware of the gap in between the inhalation and the exhalation. Become aware, be aware. If there's any thoughts that come, just acknowledge it. No need to get carried away with the thoughts. Remain with the breathing. Bring your awareness to the breathing and stay with that. There's no need to focus on anything, and nor is there any need to get lost. So you just be aware. Now, at this point, if you like, you can just kind of gently open your eyes, if you like, and maintain the awareness and allow everything to be what it is. So just rest for a few seconds with whatever your experiences is. Just this is like a mental resting. Then you can go back to closing your eyes if you like and become aware of the breathing for a few more seconds and see if there's any change this time in your ability to focus, your ability to be aware of the breathing and the gap in between the breaths. You have to keep a mental register, a kind of a constant vigil on how the practice changed or what elements you did made a difference. Now, towards this phase, almost everyone can do this, wherein you bring in some amount of contemplation into every practice you do. You can use with first your direct experience. If you're feeling any kind of restlessness in the body, you can use that for contemplation. If you're feeling any kind of restlessness with your thoughts or memories, you can also use that as your contemplation. So you can start with something very direct and right now, what is your experience, and start from that point. And then slowly bring the contemplation deeper and deeper to the true nature of your awareness and consciousness. So start with asking yourselves, how is the state of your body right now? And then you can ask yourselves, what is the state of my mind? What is the strong feeling that you might have? What is your state of feeling? Are you feeling happy with that, or you're feeling somewhat bored, or you're feeling confused? You just become aware of that. Try to get a hold on that feeling tone, whether if it's of the body or of the mind. And then you can ask yourself, how is it that you're aware of this feeling tone? And from which point are you viewing this? So if you're aware of that, obviously then it is something like an object, like a book or a pen that you're seeing. So even that feeling cannot actually be you because you are that subject that is aware of this object. So the idea is to become aware of what is in your mind and then to distance yourselves to that point where there is a sense of awareness, a sense of untouched purity in that observing. And slowly you can kind of make a decisive point where you say that this awareness has to be my true nature. So contemplate for a while and then at some point see if you can come to some decisive clarity. And if it doesn't come naturally, don't force it. Just come back to watching the breath or whatever practice you were doing earlier. Now, slowly you can bring your awareness to that point between the heart, the chest, the heart center. And that then, with the awareness from that point, you can express a gratitude for being able to practice, a gratitude for being able to have a body and mind that is allowing you to still do the practice, gratitude for this opportunity to learn from each other. And you can also kind of mentally say a prayer to others, to people, that they may all experience some sense of happiness, freedom from all suffering, that state of sublime happiness and joy that almost every saint has spoken about, that we may experience it, that everyone may experience it. Or you can say some specific prayer for somebody in need as well. I will not go into the details of how to pray, but how to send the healing prayers, or but you can of your own just make a mental wish for others. Hands and wipe your face if you like. So for this session, as we end this session, I like to kind of make a couple of suggestions. And one is that as often as you're able to practice, even like for a few minutes every day, just if you can spare a few minutes here and there every day, it will actually help you, because then you will actually start getting your own experience and your own ability to apply it. So, when in the midst of your daily life as well, if you can just bring in a few short moments of doing some core practice or some core contemplation, or even just to relax the body, then you will actually get a direct experiential understanding, which will again be a motivation for you to practice it. So, that is the way to apply it in your daily life, where and when possible, just to bring in short spurts of moments. Like if you're waiting for somebody, you're sitting in your car, or you're at like if you're just out in your balcony, wherever. So just take a few moments and just bring in that state, and then it will actually start becoming a part of you. So we will continue the sessions for those who are interested, but publicly I will not be doing all this as live stream, partly because some of the teachings has to be done more for those who are committed, and also partly because it takes a little bit of focus and attention for people to be able to do this. So for those who are going to join us, we will continue on um, as for another couple of weeks, because it is good to do the practice for about 3 weeks or so, to able to establish any new habit. It does take that amount of time. So if you're able to join for that, you're welcome. And please let me know, and I will send you that link for the live stream. But it will not be, as I mentioned, publicly streamed. So with that, I thank you also for this opportunity, and I pray that you may have good health, and that you may find the inner peace and joy that sadhana offers you. So thank you and namaste.